Well, we've reached critical mass. Thousands of cyclists will hit the streets tomorrow night. Next month, Mayor Villaraigosa's clearing miles of roadway exclusively for bicycles. But can they share the LA streets in peace? Farm fresh, all the fruit and vegetables you can get from the farmer's market. Sure, it gets to the market. But did they really come from the farm? Plus,
I like big butts and I cannot lie.
Apparently, he's not the only one. So we'll give you the bottom line on how fitness fanatics are working their butts into shape. And who doesn't want a great bike? All the stories people are talking about and everything you need to know right now on The Filter. Hello again off the top to Filter 4 front, our top 4 of the day, including what happens when you can't face the people. But we'll begin with this. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached critical mass. No, seriously, critical mass is upon us. Actually, it's tomorrow. If you don't know, Critical Mass is a cycling event held the last Friday night of the month in 300 cities worldwide. It's picking up steam here in L.A. About 2,500 riders took the streets last month, clogging intersections, driving in opposite lanes of traffic. In fact, you've probably seen this. Back in May, a police officer was caught on tape kicking a rider during a Critical Mass event. Police have warned the participants they'll be out in force tomorrow night, ensuring everything stays civil. In addition to Critical Mass, yesterday the mayor announced he is shutting down 7.5 miles of city streets on October 10 to open them exclusively for cyclists. Of course, the mayor was injured in a bike accident back in July. Our contributors tonight, civil rights attorney and radio talk show host Leo Terrell and the editor of WitnessLA.com, Celeste Fremon. Our pictures are furnished by Skype. Apparently the bikes are taking over in L.A., but should we be clearing out the roadways? Do we need to designate certain street for bike only? Do we need to do anything at all, Leo?
No. First of all, this is a First Amendment right, and cyclists have the right to the roadway as much as motorists. The problem is, Fred, they're not getting the respect and the treatment equally as motorists. People have been injured on the bikes. They have the right to utilize the streets. And what's happening here is that these cyclists are taking the streets to show that they have equal rights. This is a beautiful way to express their frustration and a legal way. I'm supporting them 100%.
Leo, they're clogging up the streets. They're causing huge traffic problems.
Hey, Fred, thousands of cars clog the freeways, clog the streets every day, 5 o'clock traffic. So what's the difference? What you're saying to me is that cyclists don't have the same rights as motorists, and that's the point of the critical mass. What's the difference?
What's the difference? More people are trying to get around in cars than riding bikes.
Fred Roggin, come on. Cyclists have the rights to the roadway.
I'm with Leo, Fred.
I'm wrong, Fred.
No. Don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting they shouldn't have the right to ride their bike, but but there should be areas for them to ride their bikes. They should not just be arbitrarily riding down the middle of the street. First, they could get picked off, Leo. At any moment, they could get picked off.
Fred, they have the right to use the roadway. What you're complaining about, what others are complaining about, there's so many of them. And I don't see the difference, respectfully, from cyclists versus motorists. I don't see the difference.
All right, Celeste, you got 20 seconds. What do you think?
We need to become a much more bike-friendly city. Finally, the mayor's turning around on that and gets it. And I see Charlie Beck is really trying to walk the right line on that, too. He's saying to the critical mass riders, follow the ride and follow the law, and we're all going to be good, and we're going to protect you. And he's not, he's saying, you do have to follow the law just like anybody else. But this city needs to be, we're the perfect city to become bike-friendly and set the standard for the nation.
Okay.
Yay.
All right, well, there you go, Celeste. You got Leo's approval. Let's move on. Imagine walking out your front door, there's a giant RV parked in front of yours. No, it's not yours, it just showed up. Now imagine it's there day after day. Now imagine there's dozens of them. Some of them are dumping trash and human waste right onto the streets. In some parts of Venice, you don't have to imagine. You just have to open your front door. Yesterday, the LA City Council voted to draft an emergency ordinance that would ban the RVs from parking overnight on the streets of Venice. Right now, there's a town hall meeting called by LA Councilman Bill Rosendahl as angry residents decide what to do with the RVs. One idea was to put them all in one giant parking lot. The residents don't want that either. So what can be done here legally? Can you ban them from parking on city streets? Can you tell someone with an RV, pick up your wheels and move, Celeste?
I think they can have overnight permits for residents only, and yet at the same time, a lot of these people are homeless. We have a terrible economy, and people are living in their RVs. So we need to respect the rights of most. But I've been in the situation, not here in L.A., but
you've lived in an RV?
No, I've up in Montana, I've had RVs parked in front of where I was staying and dumping their waste, and it's not pretty. But there is a program starting up that's called, let's see, it's called, it's from streets to home, and to have everyone park in one place on the condition that they're starting to work toward having a permanent home. And so it's not to reject these people who are really in trouble. At the same time, residents who are, who are having their businesses, their homes blocked and waste dumped, we need to protect their rights too.
Celeste, all right, Leo, let's move to you. Here's the bottom line. If you live there, you don't want these RVs parked in front of your house. It's that simple. So, Leo, legally, can they just issue an ordinance that says no RV parking on the streets?
I think they'll have a problem if they say no RVs. If they're going to make a ban, they got to ban all cars and have special permits for the residents. But I think if you have a problem just banning RVs, you're going to have people like Leo Terrell filing lawsuits saying that's unfair and targeting homeless people.
All right, how about oversized vehicles?
No, well, oversized vehicle. I mean, again, the purpose of the law is to target a particular class of people, homeless. So if you're going to ban all the cars, and you won't get me involved. But if you're going to select certain types of cars because you want certain type of people removed, you're going to get me involved.
All right. So, and if you're involved and I'm living there, what am I supposed to say? Leo, I've got this guy parked in front of my house. He won't move. He's dumping his waste. It's become an eyesore. That's my problem?
Right. No, it's not your problem because I don't condone the human waste and all the garbage. I'm simply saying get an ordinance, ban all the cars except the residents' cars. They have special permits.
All right.
Once again, we agree.
All right. Good. All right, let's move on. On to international politics, but an issue that affects everyone in this country from sea to shining sea, Iran. Now, what do you hear this? At the United Nations today, Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad said the U.S. was behind the September 11th attacks. He presented three theories, but said most people believe the U.S. attacked itself on 9/11 to protect our interests in Israel. Let that settle in. The U.S. attacked itself on September 11th. Well, the American and European delegations immediately walked out of the UN. This just hours after President Obama spoke, saying there is room for diplomacy with Iran should they choose it. But it's hard to see any room for diplomacy with a man like that. What is your reaction to the Iranian president's comments about the U.S. and 9/11, Leo?
Well, the comments are extremist. But you know what, Fred? I know this sounds crazy. I wouldn't have walked out because you know what? This country is unique, and we take the higher moral ground because we allow free speech, even speech that is critical and outrageous. And you know what? About 35 years ago, there was a president named Richard Nixon, and he opened the door to the big red monster, China. So I don't like the idea of walking out because I think we're bigger than that. I think the guy is an extremist. He's a nut. He's far-fetched. But it doesn't show good character of this country that we don't want to hear free speech.
So you think they should have stayed? What do you think, Celeste?
Yes.
I think they should have stayed, too. Quite frankly, I'm a lot more upset by the fact that Ahmadinejad's regime is about to issue an execution order for a 35-year-old blogger who is the best known in the country and was critical of the regime. And yet that would not have us walking out of the UN. We honor free speech in this country. We have people in public office that think President Obama should be compared to Hitler, and we don't walk out on them, although sometimes it's very tempting.
She's a civil rights lawyer. She's good.
Yeah, but
that's not the mature response, and I would have liked us to, but it was not helpful.
Okay, but given what happened and his assertions, you can understand the anger and frustration. You have to feel that as well, simply by virtue of the fact that he said it.
You know, this guy plays to the cheap seats, and he's not the real power anyway, quite frankly. It's the mullahs, but he's Ahmadinejad loves to play to the cheap seats. I mean, he had the whole thing about the Holocaust being a hoax, which was really angry-making and unpleasant. But we can register our displeasure without trying to shut down his free speech. Let's negotiate with the guy. And let's find a way to end some of this. We don't have to approve of what he's doing. Well, we don't, I'll
tell you something. I understand. Let's negotiate with the guy. But I think it's awfully tough to negotiate with someone like him.
He's not helpful.
Got to be honest with you. All right. Leo, Celeste, well done. Great talking to both of you. I'll talk to you again soon.
All right, Fred. Thank you.
Thank you.